Craig the live stream. Got it. I know.
Start video.
I'm with. Oh, there we go. Huh? What? Did you say start video?
Well, it's a, you got to see down the bottom left.
Oh yeah, start video.
Yeah, there you go. Now you can see us. No, I wouldn't start it unless you want to start it.
Well, it is 6 o'clock.
Oh, yep.
Recording?
I would say you must be. It don't say recording paused.
It's got to be recording. It's better be. Mouse. What happened to it?
Is it down there at stop video that then you click record?
What happened to it? It was up there.
I wonder there what says end at the top. Or more.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to make sure we're recording. Oh God, this is what I hate.
Just a phone joke.
Go, click, just hover here. Over here.
That's stop video.
Just hit the arrow, let's make sure it doesn't say. Or record on this computer, where do you usually record? But you know how to record on this computer. At least if you record it, it's recording.
There we go. That's what I
Yeah,
was.
that's what you're
That's
looking
what it was up there. I said, where'd it go? All right, Chuck.
Okay, it's 6:03. I call this Finance Committee meeting to order. Brian, you do roll call for me, please?
Yeah, Keller,
Present.
Gary,
Present.
and Cosgrave is not here.
Okay, also in attendance, the mayor is absent tonight. Intern VA Tim Little, Fiscal Officer Brian Bibler, the Chief of Police. I think I saw Debbie there. I don't know, Rick there?
Rick's not here. Darla's here.
Okay, and Darla. Okay. Well, we have two, so we can have a quorum. I need a motion to approve the minutes. Have you seen the minutes, Randy? I read them.
I'll approve the minutes as written.
How you
Okay,
gonna-
you want,
How are you going to approve them, Chuck?
Can't vote.
You can't vote.
oh, that's right. I can't even,
You don't have a quorum.
yeah, I
sorry.
can't even, I can't even second the minutes and vote on them.
Anybody have Wade's number?
I'm looking.
We can bypass that until we find out Wade's coming, Chuck. The approval
Yeah, well, I
minutes.
mean, we have a quorum. I just can't vote on it. I can come back with to the minutes and we can maybe, when he comes in, we can vote on them. Any visitors, Brian?
No.
Okay, the goals keep spending within the 2022 appropriation. Old business. I don't have any. You have any, Brian or Brandy?
I do not.
Okay, we'll go into new business. Review the monthly financials. Brian?
Okay. As you can see on page 1 of the reconciliation, we ended up with the bank and book balance of $2,541,841.04. We had total receipts of 282,000, payments of 236,000. We had one deposit in transit, credit cards, outstanding checks of 25,900, and other adjusting factors 20. That's just that hasn't popped up for a while. That's just the transfer between the sweep account and the general account. For some reason, didn't hit both statements at the same day, so that's what that is. That's it for the reconciliation. Like I said, outstanding checks, $25,908.36. And one credit cards for utility payments is the outstanding receipt. That's pretty much it for the reconciliation, Chuck.
Okay. Go into, yeah, go ahead.
Check register, like I said, we wrote $235,075.14 worth of checks last month. Let's see, many things.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't see anything else.
Well, you'll see two checks there at the end of the month there, Southgate, Lincoln, and Extreme Dodge. Those are the payment on the cars. That for the police department that we're gonna get reimbursed for by the school, which is why we need Wade here, because that's on legislation tonight. Chuck can't vote.
I don't have any questions.
All right.
Peter.
Oh, the Griffin pavement striping. We finally got an invoice for all the striping that took place last summer. And you know, the stripes for our parking lot here as well as a couple streets, I think. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally got the bill on that. That was $7,000. Moving on to the finance report. Okay, last month, Star Ohio, we received $1,580 in interest last month. It just keeps, I think that's the highest amount we've ever gotten since I've been here. Yes, it exceeded $1,000 there for a while. Prior to 2020, but I don't think it ever reached 1,500 before. Rita, last month we received $75,563 in income tax collections last month. That's 14,000 more than this time last year, and I think we're at we're above what we were last year. Appropriation status. If you recall last month when I sit there and said the reason why the water fund was so low, because we had that big outstanding unencumbered balance there for the capital outlay, and I said if you took that out, it would be roughly around 80%. Well, I removed that on this year to show that that's where the water department is at 81% at the end of November. So, general fund was at 81%, streets are 82%, sewer 74%, and 27% stormwater, storm sewer. And as it's been all year, general fund, the major lines exceeding where we should be or exceeding where we should, percentage wise collections.
Yeah, I go say 11 months, you're right around, it should be 92%. So ain't all of them are below 92. So yeah, I can see year to date looks good.
And then I have the appropriations report. As you can see, yeah, if you look at the water fund, they're at 46%, but that's because of that's where they're actually at 46%. So when you take out the OPWC, it's gonna be carried over next year. They're at 81%. So that's why there's a difference there. And all funds are at 65%. So overall,
Okay. You done, Brian? You got anything? Anybody have any questions? Do I hear him? Well, we can't make a motion. So, hey, did anybody get a hold of Wade or anything?
Don't think so.
not yet.
Okay.
Oh,
No.
I texted Mayor, he said that he will be here for council. He wasn't able to make it to the committee.
Okay, well, these reports, they can be passed at the next meeting. This is something that can wait. mean,
Okay,
you can't-
well, I didn't know you, yeah, that's right. We can do it the first meeting in January and clear out the book for November and December and okay. Okay, going on to the 2023 budget.
Yeah, everyone should have received an updated copy. I highlighted my changes in yellow. Updates more numbers. General fund, like for instance, I've added a revenue source of loan proceeds, chief. It's 45,000, gonna be enough
For the,
for the other two vehicles.
yeah, we'll make it work. whatever.
We'll make it work. Okay. If you see in the water operating, I invoiced Greif for one half of the $73,000 bill. I have not received payment on that yet. But I did reflect the other half for Joey for next year. If we don't get anything between now and the end of the year, I will modify that to the full 73,000. Okay. Sewer operating. Oh, I increased it to 69 because the force main project, the relocation of the sewer line. I included, that's gonna be on next year's budget. Because they're not gonna get to it we're not gonna get an invoice for it until January at least. So I put that on next year's budget. And that income coming in is included in that 69,000 coming back from being reimbursed to us. Moving on the appropriations side, all the yellow highlights have been updated for the police department based on. I went back and rechecked my numbers and there are some changes. I don't have a prior copy in front of me. Also, in the general fund, I added $25,000 on page 8 as for windows for the building. And allocated $45,000 for police cruisers. That's on page 9. Trying to think what happened. to the police department. Oh, they changed because of the proposals to, on what to pay the officers next year. That's why.
Yes.
So all those numbers changed. On page 10, the only change for the street fund is medical hospitalization. One of the employees is going to be switching from either from one of them. There's 4 plans: employee only, employee spouse, family, and employee with children. Well, employee has decided to enroll his entire family, and it skyrocketed that year. It went from here to here, and that's why it jumped up to $76,300. And that's why Mr. Boucher, or I should say the service department right now is in the hole $4,300. We're keeping a very close line on it. We've already instituted no purchase orders unless it's in a dire emergency for the rest of the year. And,
Okay.
but Tim has some revenues coming in that, and plus as things get paid, like medical insurances and that kind of stuff, I can close those POs, put that money back into. So I'm keeping an eye on this, but right now it's in the hole, but I don't think we'll be. Okay, nothing really changed. And in any other funds except for, oh, on page 14, adding the relocation.
Yeah, but we'll get reimbursed for that.
We're getting
Yeah.
reimbursed for that, but I had to include it in the budget section.
Okay.
And the only other changes I made were to, on page 16, which is the sewer debt service and water debt service. I went ahead and added the, everyone wanted to pay off 4 loans next year. Let's see if I can pull up. I think I identified them there. I think I've identified them there.
Yeah, you've got,
Yeah,
they're
they're
on,
highlighted.
Yeah. Okay,
on CQ 04M.
right,
Yeah, you've got 4 of them on there.
right.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's,
yeah, so, and that's still, we have an adequate cushion there, adding those 4 in there. And I went ahead and done an analysis. Because it seems to me we're just accumulating some money. So I went in and I did analyze what we collect every month from the people, and I have determined, and I plugged the numbers in the budget. They're not plugged in here, but let's say that we, I've done the analysis and we can lower some water and sewer bills for the residents of this village. I'll pull up that analysis. I even ran the numbers, modified the projected revenue number. And we're still okay, even if it's changed. I'm going to pull this up here. And, how do I share the screen?
There you go.
Well, I know, but Chuck can't see it though.
You got to,
I gotta do something there.
you gotta get rid of that first.
Huh?
You gotta get rid of that first.
What?
No.
Oh.
Yep.
Screen share,
It should be, yeah. Yeah,
Screen.
share.
Yep.
Okay, Chuck. Here's what, the top part of here is what we currently, we have 1,472, under the water debt, 1,472 EDUs and 1,438 EDUs for sewer debt. EDUs is the people we bill. That we have, there's a huge difference between how many buildings we have versus EDUs. It's like, for instance, the apartment complex up by the AGA, that's one building, but there's 45 people or 45 EDUs to that one, okay? So we got 1,472 EDUs at $15, that's $22,880, okay?
right.
At $33, this is what we are expected to collect per month. 47 power 454 times that by 12. And these numbers, this is pretty accurate because if you go by our projected revenues, that's relatively close to what we get, okay, in revenues. I went ahead and done an amortization schedule for next year, 2024, paying off the 4 loans. We only need 200,000 to be collected in the water and 495,000 to be collected in the sewer. Okay, using the same EDUs, lowering the rates from the 15 to 12, 33 to 29. you're gonna collect 17,000 a month, 41,000 a month, multiplied by 12, 211, 500,000, still enough to meet our projected what we need to, that's what our projected numbers are gonna be to spend next year. So you can actually consider lowering the water debt charge $3 and the sewer debt charge $4. That's a $7 savings. So that would take the current $84, minimum bill $84 to $77.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like, I'm looking at your numbers. That'd be fine. Cause everybody in the village, they're always complaining about how much high the water bill is. So that might give them a little bit of a relief.
I'm gonna share this screen with you too, Chuck, here.
Okay.
As soon as I. Okay. So as you can see, so next year we have for 2023, I'm budgeting 615,000, I believe. Yeah, 521,000. Principal 93,000, so 600. So those are, but if you can see, I got my 2024 tab, paying off the 4 highlighted ones right there. That number lowers, see, they're not included in this calculation. We need 200,000 and 500,000. That's why I'm saying council has an opportunity to actually lower the debt charges next year.
And still having a slight cushion in there.
Yeah,
So if the way you figured, Brian, by lowering the water debt and the sewer debt, we can keep doing that year after year in, or maybe next year look at it again.
yeah, I mean, as long as we don't add any more debt, I mean, if we add more debt, then I'd have to reevaluate it, maybe you might have
Yeah.
to increase. But as long as we don't issue any new debt,
Yeah. Yeah, if something happened in the water or sewer plant, we
I
have
can-
to, yeah.
yeah. And I can analyze this, every year, yeah, you can continue to reduce the amount needed to collect, and I think that's a good idea. I mean,
Yeah, because we can't pay it off early, so. I mean, what you say, 2042, when is the last year when we pay? I think that's what I saw.
oh, it's coming up on the screen again. Well, bonds get paid off the year 2040. So yeah, 2042, but we're gonna pay that one off, so looks like 2040, Chuck.
2040? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I hate to borrow money too, and we can really reduce anything. I'm for it. Reduce or pay it off early. Sounds good.
Well, now, yeah, I mean, you can actually reduce it, like I said, $3 and $4 for each one. And still, and I ran the numbers.
So you
I mean, you're not going to do this as of January 1. Of course, we have to have legislation, I believe, to modify that ordinance.
that would have to be proposed in a
Uh-huh.
future meeting.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And I mean, I think if I remember correctly, I showed you, when I ran the numbers and lowered the projected revenues versus what we're gonna spend, it gave us like a $10,000 cushion in the water debt, and that makes me a little nervous because that's running it really low. I like to have a little cushion, just because when, not a big cushion like 200,000 like you've got now. But you'd like to have a little cushion.
But you probably got a little bit built in going forward
Yes, we
too.
got some building.
So it's not like it should continue to grow little by little as we
Yes,
go too.
yes.
So having
I
it
think
down to 10, it's going to slowly grow back up.
And I believe that the citizens would
They would really
enjoy a little
appreciate
bit
that.
of relief.
I mean, I remember sitting, explaining to a water bill with a customer, I think my first year here. And she was asking why the water bill is so high. And that's when I had my 11 by 14, not my 11 by 14. That 14 by 17 spreadsheet, that's what this holds. I said, right here, this is why, reason why. And I showed her on the water bill. I said, the goal is to pay some of these off early, so we can lower some bills. And I think we're finally getting to the point now where we can.
That would be nice to be able to own that. On this sort of vote.
I told her, I said, I'm hopeful. I said,
Yeah.
I didn't make any promises back then. That was back in, God, that was before, that was pre-COVID, I know that.
Well, yeah, I think you should keep it on finance. Maybe February.
Yeah, because we would have to talk about it after. the
Yeah,
budget.
yeah.
Budget.
Now, the rates do go up January 1, 3%, water and sewer rates, January 1. But but that won't get billed till February, which won't come due till March.
So we're saying.
We could always
that's all good
coincide
about
again.
it now.
About the
So
minute they all
should we say
complain.
anything?
Yeah, let them complain one month and we'll lower them the next.
Okay.
Give them
Yeah,
a month
you-
to complain about it. and say, "Hey, we fixed it for you. Yeah, we
There
got
you
it.
So that's really the only changes that I made on the budget itself. I didn't get anything from the mayor. I know he said he didn't get my spreadsheet. I don't like giving the mayor my spreadsheets. I'm just gonna say that. Because if he makes some changes, then I don't know when he makes changes wise. And I tried to get him to tell me, what do you want me to do? And I'll plug him in and explain it.
Yeah.
But anyway, but based on his email, he is correct. I mean, what we have in the budget will take care of both VA positions. We might have to maybe within the general fund, maybe shift some monies from one area to another area, but other than that,
Well, like I said, we're not gonna pass this budget tonight. And I know rules coming up next, so I guess we'll have to wait till everything gets done in the committee to see what happens.
okay.
So. Anything else, Brian?
I don't remember what was on this. Oh, yeah, the next one is an ordinance that we have. We got two of them? No,
Oh, that was trash.
they've already talked about
Yeah,
that.
This one's your.
Yeah, yeah, we have an ordinance that needs to be passed tonight. Hopefully Wade shows up. To budget for the police cruisers that I paid for already. That we're getting reimbursed for by the school. But I had. to
Oh, is that
budget-
what okay?
That's
Is
what
that
that,
what that ordinance is, 2022-47?
yes, it's the police department went to Michigan to pick them up week after.
Last
Thanksgiving.
Monday, week ago Monday.
It was after Thanksgiving, week of Thanksgiving, week after Thanksgiving. And,
Okay.
Do we need to do that here in finance in this particular committee? Because if he's coming later.
Yeah, I mean,
We can do it later this evening.
yeah, I'm just,
Sorry, Chuck, I was just asking if it's okay if we can carry that over later once Wade's here.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
You'd have to
I'm not sure. I guess we'd have to ask Jeff. I don't know.
close the meeting and open the meeting.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. If Wade gets here like 10 minutes before 7:30, before the council meeting starts, maybe we can go back into finance and clear some of this up.
Open it back up.
okay, that'll work.
I mean, this way we can get a motion to approve the minutes and then take make a motion to take the ordinance to council. And then get a motion to approve the financials too. That's what we need, right, Brian? Just them three?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else have any new business? Brian, you have anything else?
No, I mean, I know you saw that other ordinance, but they've already been discussed. That's the monkey concept.
Oh, yeah, I know. We talked about the cars, so,
We talked about the cars and we talked about I thought
The
it was
Rockies
separate.
in the
It is separate.
council.
It's in council,
Yeah,
yes.
it's separate. But
But
I
that's
just
it's
did the
been
whip.
discussed with service and the whole 9 yards, so.
Yep.
No, I don't have anything to.
Rainey, you have anything?
No, I'm sorry.
Anybody else? Okay, I guess our next meeting, unless we have to have emergency, our next meeting will be January 9th, 2023 at 6 PM. And I don't know, we gotta have an organization meeting before then or not. I guess we'll find out when Jeff gets there. Because from what Brad, his email, he's kind of like he just says he's gonna leave everything the same. So I don't know. So we'll just plan on meeting January 9th next year. And the meeting's adjourned.
6:32.
Okay, we will open the rules committee at 6:32. Do we have roll call, please?
Reedy,
Yes.
Schaffner,
Present.
Foreman.
Present.
We also have Police Chief Mike Tussey, Interim VA Tim Little, Fiscal Officer Brian, Brandy McCreary. That's it. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of November 14th meeting, please?
Foreman makes the motion, we approve the minutes as written.
Schaffner, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have any visitors? Nope, just Chuck. Oh, I forgot Chuck's on with us.
Yeah,
Hello, Chuck. The next thing is the 2022 goals, employee evaluation forms. I think we're gonna put those on hold still. We don't have any old business. New business is still that 600 Market Street. I'm not sure why it's in rules. But.
Because we brought it up last month, and if you remember correct, it was tabled unless there was another complaint.
And it's still tabled, correct?
Yeah, it's still,
So it'll still be tabled, yeah.
Okay. The next thing we need to talk about is the VA position. Do we have any comments about it?
I do.
Go ahead, you go first.
So I put a lot of thought into this and I feel like we need to start from the beginning on this and work our way out. I do not have an objection to splitting up the positions. I have no objection to that whatsoever. However, if we're going to split up the positions, I feel like we need to get the job descriptions completed for those positions and have those worked out prior to hiring anybody. And I also believe that we should post the new job descriptions because if they're altered, they may bring in more resumes. Somebody who has not got a lot of service experience might have more HR experience and be more qualified and feel comfortable, or vice versa. So I kind of feel like the job description, the new job description should be posted. And then after we know what we have, I kind of feel like we should pick the ones that we feel that should be interviewed and interview those candidates, including internal candidates. I think that they should be interviewed as well as external candidates. And then the mayor brought up in the last meeting about the salary. This gets complicated as far as talking about, since one of the candidates in the room. But he talked about the fact that Tim was already made more money than Terry did. I am not at all in favor of splitting up these jobs and then paying somebody more than Terry was making. It just does not seem to make good business sense to me. And I guess the only exception I would make to that is there was discussion about if it was Tim, that he might be able to do the service part of, your kind of your old job with it. But that would have to be, in my opinion, that would have to be determined up front, because I wouldn't want to raise the salary. What I don't want to see is make the position smaller, or if you keep your job and are doing 2 jobs, and then pay more, and then 6 months down the road, it's determined I can't do both jobs now, but I still have more. I'm making more for only half of what Terry was doing. So those are my thoughts.
Okay, I have some thoughts on it. I don't feel like going to the 2 village administrator thing is a good idea at all. I think we need 1 village administrator with an administrative assistant to help with doing the metrics and the paperwork and the office work. I'm not at all in favor of a 2 village administrator system. I don't see, we've tried the 2 full-time positions with a service and the other there. There just isn't enough work there. I don't see it. And so I'm not at all for going down this path. I'm all for sticking with 1 village administrator and 1 administrative assistant, which would be sort of like Phil and Barb's position. So that's my thoughts on it. What do you think, Chuck?
Well, I'm kind of feeling the same way. I don't think we need 2 VA too also. I know we can look at the office and maybe move the, move jobs around. And like you say, Barb, maybe we can give whoever that person is, but I'm like kind of like Debbie too. I think we need a job description. We need to sit down, decide what we need and what their job entitled to be. So if we had, a person like, I'll just say Barb, her position, or assistant VA, we need a job description on every position so we know how to go forward. If you got 2 VAs, I think it'd be kind of, it's like if I was in there with somebody else and I said, I'm going to do this, it's like the other person might say, well, I don't think we should do that. I think it'd be hard on that person, on them 2 people. I really think we need, like they say, let them know what we need. And then we have to come up with some kind of a pay scale, for somebody that's working in the VA position and somebody coming in as the assistant VA or assistant, I don't know if you want to call it assistant VA or give it another name. What was Barb's title? What was her title?
Administrative assistant, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, administration assistant. And maybe we might keep that title and keep, have a VA and an administrative assistant, but maybe give her more workload.
Right. That's my thinking, is that a lot of the metrics and a lot of the paperwork and office work that was being done could or should have been done by the administrative assistant, and free the village administrator up to pursue more forward-thinking things.
Randy, do you have any opinions?
Now, I think what I had said earlier, I still think we need to come up with the job descriptions before proceeding.
Yeah.
To know what we need, so that we're not trying to plug things. I think we need to know what's needed with 2 different positions, and then go from there. Based on
Yeah, I'm along with what's been said. I think 2 VAs is, you're looking at trouble. You're looking at button heads, or, hey, such and such told me to do it this way. Well, no, I want you to do it this way. I mean, I think you're gonna muddy the waters with that.
I think we need to fill the village administrator position first, because that person should have some say and input into who the administrative assistant's gonna be
Absolutely.
and what their job responsibilities are gonna be. So I think we should just focus on village administrator. What do we need for them to do? And then who we're gonna put there, and then have them at the table for the conversation on who an administrative assistant would be. You don't want to just like say, well, this is who's supposed to do this task, and we kind of shove it on them. We want them to be
I
on
don't
at the
agree
table.
with that blue thing at all.
there's a lot here.
There is.
So based on this, that's what I'm saying. I think we should decide what is it we need and which role would be assuming those responsibilities.
I just want to say, I am not, when I say I'm not opposed to it, I don't have any strong feelings really either way. I think it could work either way. But I just would say, I think when he talks about splitting it up, I don't see the butting heads as much, because if the job descriptions are done correctly, you know, the one side would be doing more service, related issues. The other person would be, like he said, doing more HR issues. So I guess I don't see the intertwining as much. But like I said, what was that?
That was-
Chuck,
Well, I think we need one, what I was gonna say, we need one boss. I mean, you say the village, the VA position, and then if you say, okay, I'm the one in charge of the office staff, then I can understand that. But if you have 2 positions, you have to decide who is the person in charge. You know what I mean? And when he says 2 VAs, someone's gotta be in charge.
One person.
Yes,
Yes, I don't see how you can have 2 people in charge of the office staff plus the people, the water plant, sewer plant, and the service.
I don't think that's what he intended. I don't think he intended for both people to be in charge of the office staff. I think that was the point of splitting it up, that there would be duties on one side and duties on another. And they're kind of, I think the equality of them was more in the realm of a professional position. So you have 2 professional positions, and here is this one person's duties, here are this other person's duties. Again, I'm not advocating for either side. I'm just
Sure.
think
Yeah,
that that's
that's
I just think there might be some
Question to you.
misunderstanding.
Who, me or Tim?
No, you,
Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah, because this is all,
Monies.
yeah, money.
What was he thinking? Terry salary? Okay. I just think we can't go about, I don't think we can go about doing what he wanted to do and
Okay.
hiring people right
I,
now.
I think we could afford it. I just don't think it'll work. I just don't think it's a good path forward.
Okay, but you guys, I guess my question to you guys is you're hesitant about the budget. Well, the budget doesn't reflect any of these changes. Budget is.
The one we have right now.
The one we have right now is, he's in the service department. You saw in the green, I still got it green. I don't know
Sure,
what we're
sure.
doing here, for the VA position. The other
Neither do
candidate-
we.
Huh?
Neither do we.
So what I'm saying is the budget that I've got that's gonna be come up for the 3rd reading is how it's prepared. If it was last year, with everyone, Tim Boucher getting paid out of street fund, his
Okay.
employees, he gets paid out of the water fund,
Okay.
sewer fund, a portion of a street fund, if he works in the street fund, those are already incorporated in that budget. If we need whatever you decide upon salary wise, we can always amend things, amend the budget, if need be. I've currently got the VA position, what Terry was making
That's fine.
with a 3% raise. And I tried to guess on what kind of insurance coverage, family, single, I went the high mode on that end. So if you brought in someone that is gonna be paid out of that line and it's a single person, of course, that number, that high, as what it currently is. I went on the high end. What I'm trying to say is regardless of what postpone, holding off on the VA positions, it doesn't affect my budget right now.
Okay,
It's when we hire the VA, then it can affect my budget, but we can always amend that.
okay.
Right.
All right, then question to you. How are you working the job now? Are you doing like the VA part-time and then your other job
Pretty much,
regular? So does that add a lot of hours to your day?
not really.
No, you're kind of,
Usually what I'll do, I start at 6 o'clock, always have. since
Uh-huh.
I've been there. And this
I
is
know, I
my
watched you
first
go
stop.
by.
This is my first stop. So I'll come in here, I'll answer any emails that I missed between the time I left yesterday
Mhm.
and this morning. Emails, I can't do voicemails that early, obviously, and then I'm usually here, me and Missy will touch base, me and Brian will touch base, and I'm gone. I'm gone doing some other things throughout the day, and then toward the end of the day, I'll come back, and I might be here till 3 o'clock, 3:30 at the latest. I try
and
to
so it's
still-
been working out kind of a part-time VA and your regular job.
And that's without an administrative assistant.
Exactly. Okay,
Yes, I mean, Terry Wise is doing some zoning, and I know right now is the slowest portion of the year for zoning. She has been helping me out with that, but, yeah, other than that, it's been.
About
Is
any
the-
grant writing.
See, that's.
Well,
That's not.
right, and that's something I'm thinking that a good administrative assistant can do.
Exactly.
and again,
So that-
And regarding the OPWC, Mike Crane wrote the grant for us.
Right, there's
Yeah.
help from the
There
county.
is hope.
exactly.
There's help there. You just need somebody in the office to work with them
Mhm.
as an office person to help do the office work. Which is exactly what an administrative assistant should be doing.
And that could be this is the way I'm seeing it. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. The way I'm looking at administrative assistant is it could be a part-time, young mother, whatever, her kids are in school. That could be a part-time job also. I don't see where that has to be a full-time job. Therefore, you're eliminating benefits too.
There's just not that much work here. I mean,
Well, okay, I've got to get, I guess, a couple questions. So there's a lot of little things, lots and lots of little things, like just as an example. Well, let's just make a hypothetical situation. So let's just say that there's somebody who is running a business and we don't know about that, but somebody says, hey, these people are running a daycare and the traffic is, they're parking all over, they're parking on in a no parking zone to pick up their kids every night. They're honking their horns, start to get annoying. Like who takes care of that kind of stuff?
Would come to me.
That
Right
would-
now, that would come to me. And then I would decide at that point. who would
I guess
take
I
care.
look at grant writing as a little bit more
And I'm-
advanced than maybe
See, I'm
everybody
not
else
really
does.
concerned about that because the county's got it.
Find them. You have to
That's,
seek out-
that's the key right there.
Yeah.
Know where to go to find
Yes.
And
those.
you have to have
Exactly.
the time to do that.
Yeah.
But the
but
county's
there just
got
aren't that many hours in it. And I guess when Darla says a part-time person, there's a lot of really, really talented people who had to make a choice between career and family. And I believe that's one of the reasons we got Missy was because she wanted to be in town because her child was at school here. I know when I met my wife, she did not want to work anywhere but Baltimore because she had 2 children in school. And these are people who made a choice between career and family. And some of these people are incredibly talented and could probably blow our socks off if we would make it a flex time, part-time job.
well, and
a
advertising.
lot of it, Barb did a lot from home.
I was gonna say that there is a lot that can be done.
And I'm thinking that we should even maybe see if we can nail it down and get the school to list it on their website. And I'm not trying to make it gender specific here because we don't know. Some of the people that made it saved the career may have been the wife, and the husband is the one who chose family over career. You don't know anymore. It's become more and more evenly split. But I think by seeing if we can get the school to put it on the website, we're hitting hundreds of the right possible people that might be college educated, super talented, decided to take the family path.
But I'm gonna go back to, I think that we need to write up a job description
Agreed.
to be specific.
Agreed.
Because we're dancing around this and to say it doesn't take time. I don't want to say that until we put it on paper.
Right.
But don't we have that?
We kind
we
of
did
did,
the-
but we
We're not
kind
far
of
from it.
danced around. There are things that we're piecemealing
We did.
and assigning to each of those jobs. And I think we need to be more specific to say skills that they must encompass here. So here is our need, here are some of the wants, and those are gonna be a little bit different. But I think the two different jobs, we do need to specifically discuss what the job description should entail,
And what it
the
is. we
skills they
want.
should possess.
Right. And what is it that we want? Do you want a part-time VA and a part-time assistant, or do we want a full-time VA and a part-time assistant? I mean, what is it that we are wanting? Apparently, we are not wanting two VAs. That's what I'm hearing.
And if we're looking at, depending upon the role of the VA, might determine the sub skills, those skills of the assistant, the administrative assistant.
Right.
I'm concerned with calling it an administrative assistant, because I think of secretary when I think of
It is.
secretary.
That's what it is. Isn't that what we're saying?
Is that what we're saying, that it's a secretarial position? Instead of a VA
What
position?
about executive assistant? I mean, so.
Yeah,
it's kind of
we're getting into
same,
semantics. I
but
think
yeah,
the administrator, they're assisting the administrator.
Well,
They
let's
are
see.
literally assisting the administrator.
But if we publish it that
Well-
way, we're gonna get secretarial people. applying
Right.
as well.
When you see that posted, that's what I think of.
Yeah.
Secretarial.
Me too.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's
But
nothing
again,
wrong with it,
We
but
just
is
would
that,
have to,
but is that what we want?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
this-
VAs. Tim can handle the service. We would probably definitely need someone in here. More so to help with zoning, I would say. I mean, more than anything.
If it gets real busy, absolutely. it's zoning.
I mean,
Well, and that's a lot of asking questions, looking at the zoning, seeing if it meets all the requirements, which is a lot of just reading and thinking. It's not high level stuff. There were plenty of mistakes made over the last few years due to a lack of understanding. I mean, I think more than once sent the police out to shut down the job. And yeah, I don't know that you're gonna find somebody that just has all of those skill sets. The zoning part of it is just, looking, reading and understanding what's being proposed and making sure it fits our code. And that's just time consuming for anyone. And it's almost like if the administrative assistant runs through, doesn't see anything and says, okay, boss, here's what I found or didn't find. What do you think? And it's just a matter of learning the code and understanding the code. And anybody we hire is gonna do that. Anybody.
Yeah, because our code will be different than the town they came from or.
Yeah, if you hired
Yeah.
someone who's been done it for years, they're still gonna have to
Yeah.
absorb all the information in our code.
and they would also be doing zoning and code enforcement, so. Is that correct? Because that was also one of the other,
Is that it, or is it the VA has to do that?
I don't know, I think that was one of the things that was brought up.
Well,
Zoning
and
code
would Brett
enforcement
continue with
was
the
to-
field work on the code enforcement because he's been doing it?
He's not doing that.
He's back on that.
He's-
1 week gone, 1 week thing, so.
Okay.
So I mean, right at the present moment, I've been doing code enforcement. I mean, Brett's done a couple of it before me, but code enforcement is not that
time consuming.
time consuming.
Right now.
Yeah, I
this
mean,
time.
Yeah.
especially if I'm already out and about and I know about it,
Mhm.
it's a little easier because
Because you're out.
I just did it today. I mean,
Yeah.
just, I do this. I think, look at it, we'll take a picture.
Administrator, as administrative assistant, writes the letter.
Yeah.
At your direction.
Yeah, I wrote the letter and Missy. I guess if any of you have a question about anything that I've been doing, I mean, that's great. I'm glad you were throwing things at me, that this is the way my day progresses. and I
Oh,
think
yeah,
it can
I mean,
I like
continue.
the
need to know.
way you're aware of here and there. I think that's what,
Yeah,
kind of what's going on throughout.
and I just, the way I understand it from speaking with Terry before she left and now, and also Missy is, the zoning is the biggest thing because it's the slowest time right now. But in starting spring, summer, building starting, fences starting, pools starting, it's a constant. You gotta, so it'd be nice to get someone.
That assistant would be important.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe get them started before all that hits.
And that's where maybe getting some skills, what skill sets do you think would be important in that particular position?
Chuck, do you have any comments?
Well, no, only thing is, I guess we all have to sit down and come up to what do we all agree on? Do we want a full-time VA, then a part-time, I hear part-time administrator assistant, maybe a part-time VA assistant. How many people are we really sitting down what we want? Do we want one full-time and two part-time or just two full-time and just give them a different name? I just don't like a VA position full-time and a VA assistant. I just think that makes it kind of confusing. If we can come up with one VA position full-time and then come up with a administration assistant and maybe give that person more jobs or, and if it's full-time, fine. If not, make it part-time.
Isn't that what we already
Yeah,
have?
I think we should propose it as full-time village administrator. We should hire that person. We should define what that person needs from a administrative assistant and post that job and post it as part-time. But if it needs to convert into a full-time, we find out then. I don't think it is, to be honest with you, but we can always change. Well, we can't get it all done in 30 or 25 hours a week. So we just can't get it all done.
Yep.
But I think that's all we need. I really believe it is. I don't think there's enough work here for any other solution. I really don't. Brian, you're here. Do you think there's enough work here for two full-timers?
Two full-time VAs.
Or even two
No,
full-timers?
one, yeah.
However we
Full-time.
designate them,
Yeah.
is there enough work here for two full-timers?
I've only been here since Terry, and I know what she did. And she worked long hours.
That's what I thought. And to be honest, she told me before she left that was one of the reasons that she
That's
left.
probably.
Yeah,
Because it was just gotten to be too much.
It was just getting to be too much for her.
Yeah.
Well, and then for parts of that, there was no Barb, or there was a Barb and then there wasn't a Barb.
Yes.
And so that was a in here today, not tomorrow, and it wasn't that reliable part-time 30-hour a week help that
Well,
that
Barb
village
was
administrator need
The Barb was full-time.
when she was even working here during the last year.
Yeah, she worked full-time. And then, and helped Terry out immensely.
Yeah.
Typing the letters, filling in for Missy when she was gone, she learned those jobs and so forth. Helped me out when if I was on vacation. I taught her how to do things like to process payroll while I was gone, or, when I was out 2 weeks for COVID, she called me up on the phone and said, okay, we gotta pay these bills, and I walked her through, so she'd write checks, and then Terry was able to sign a check. She could check sign. So we were able to keep things going on. Barb decided to retire, spend with her grandkids, with her Terry previously, that didn't work out.
So she didn't even really get to where she had any kind of momentum. She wasn't here long enough to really.
No, she
Embrace the
started in
job.
January and she was out by the end of April.
Yeah, so we're talking about the whole last year.
Yeah.
Has been really in flux.
Right.
And so I say, that I think we should go back to the full-time village administrator. And I really firmly believe that the part-time administrative assistant is enough, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not, but I think it is. I mean, even if the part-time is doing the metrics and the zoning letters and the minutes and the agenda, I mean, what else would they be doing?
Writing grants,
I'm trying.
Writing grants, that's fine.
but
I still don't feel like we've come anywhere near a 40
Yeah, I
hour.
know that Barb did a lot of stuff in the cemeteries.
Yeah, she did a lot of stuff. in the
A lot
cemeteries.
in the
That's what I was
cemeteries.
thinking. I know that, well, she kept,
A lot of that was just getting the inventory, which is done now, right?
the
Like
inventory.
a lot of the
is-
work that needed done in the cemeteries has been, is kind of done.
And
Yeah.
and like you said, this is the slow time, so we're not under this pressure where everybody's going, yeah, this, and this.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
no, we don't need anybody right now.
And it's really been a weird couple of years. I mean, we're talking COVID, we're talking all sorts of things that hadn't ever happened before.
Yeah.
I think we should do this and see how it works, and we can always make changes.
Yeah, because you could start them out at doing 15 to 20 hours
Well,
a
she-
week now and then change them to 30
Well, you were
hours
in
a
the
week on
office
Sunday.
last-
but you have to
this
make sure that the person who fills that job is okay with that.
Right,
Exactly.
right. But they don't know until they get in it.
Rick, you were in the office last
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
To bring me an invoice.
Yeah.
Which I got PO for that, by the way. And you saw me, because there was lots of things that Barb did behind the scenes that I wasn't aware of. Like, that's why I said, hey, how did you, I knew, I was asking, okay, what did you do here? Because I totally forgot I have to index the ordinances and resolutions and I have to have an index and then you print that index and file, put that in the book and. You
Right.
saw-
So you're
she did
spending a lot of time learning what she had been doing.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that once that person's learned it, it isn't that time consuming. It's just once they get into a rhythm.
And she did a lot.
And we haven't had anybody in that rhythm for a year at least.
Tim, do you have a copy of the job description for VA? The one that exists now?
I sent that to you.
I got it.
I sent
Well,
that.
but I'm asking if Tim has it.
Do I have it?
Yeah,
I can look it up on the share folder. I don't have a copy.
I
of it.
mean, it seems to me like you're the person in the best position to look at that job description and break it down as to
See if it needs changes.
what, well, not necessarily changes, but some sort of hierarchy. And, what's the VA, what should the VA be doing? And if there was an assistant, what's in that job description that the assistant could do?
I can do that if you'd
I mean,
like.
don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, structuring the office here seems like it would be the VA, Brian and Missy, who's currently doing what? What are we missing to be the most efficient? What do we need? What skills do we really need to bring to the table to improve efficiency and make sure, what are the roles that they would be responsible for?
Because you also got the website. Barb did a lot of.
Oh, God,
all the
yes,
websites.
I came, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's,
I mean,
It
yes,
needs help right now.
Filing the new
Huh?
ones.
It needs a little bit of help right now.
yeah.
It needs some minutes in there.
I don't, I don't have access to do that.
Well, and to be, I forgot.
Oh.
I just forgot.
Well, and here again, we're all learning how to do this for the
Sure.
first time.
Yeah.
Once somebody's in that role, we've got a rhythm going. It's
Right.
not that
Right.
big of a deal. It's hard when you haven't ever done it. It takes a half a day to figure it out. But once you've done it, it's like,
Oh, my first 2 weeks, might have spent them for.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
so, And making sure I was on everything and getting this done and that done. And yeah, I just forgot.
right.
Okay. Have we talked this to death?
Is there any
Do we-
action?
Yeah, I think we need an action plan.
Right.
really,
Right.
Which I think is define the village administrator.
I'd like to see,
Different from what we have.
I don't know if it's different from what we had.
I would just like to see, like, if Tim could take the current job description and divide that up, so that if there was two, if let's just say that you're the interim VA right now, and if we had an assistant for you tomorrow,
What would I want?
what
What
would
would you
those-
want from that
what
person?
would you want from the
I
that
got you.
person?
Mhm. And with how you are currently working within that role.
To stay that
'Cause
way.
Yeah.
right.
Okay, I got you.
Because it probably is different versus a VA who's in here and
Constant.
working.
What
in here
Terry
most
did.
of the time, it's just different.
Yeah, it's gonna be
It's
different. If
Neither
you
one's
would-
right or wrong, just different.
Right.
And I will consult with Missy and Brian with the same, kind of the same.
What jobs
Yeah.
should be on that village administrator, and what ones would be tasked to the administrative assistant?
And there could be, are there things that could go out to some of the supervisors?
Correct.
Because the VA is only as good as the people that working under them.
You just know, I mean, you know the position at this point better than any of us
Yeah.
probably.
Right.
And,
Terry too, she could probably provide.
yeah,
I haven't.
I've been spoken to Missy, so I mean, and
I
Missy's
I
been in
like
this
my
office longer
little-
than anybody, so.
22 years.
Missy's a good source of information.
Oh, yeah,
She's
she's
been here
helped me a
22
lot.
years. and-
She's helped me a lot.
Speaking of Missy, I have to. She don't like change very much. She's not, I'm one of those people too. I don't like change. And I mentioned after one meeting, how she asked me how the meeting went. And I said, well, they're thinking about doing this and this. And I've been thinking about it. I said, maybe, bring in someone out here. And she,
You ran out the door, didn't you?
I ran out the door. I was like, I'm just going to go out, just go over here.
Yeah.
And I just mentioned. Missy doesn't take much time off work and she's, no, and in fact, I've been trying to push her, get away. We've got this. Well, there's a lot of things that I don't know what she does. I mean, I can't fathom even trying to upload meter reads and doing the bills. I mean, Missy knows how to do that, the ins and outs of that. I did recently learn how to do the dailies, so she took a week off. We can continue flowing with the office. I can make the deposits and all that stuff, which that's what it should be, cross training.
Yeah.
But she did, she was.
Yeah. Yeah, you're wrong.
I
Opinion, what are we getting at? Is her opinion on the administrative assistant?
Yeah.
What about it?
She doesn't think it's necessary.
So she believes that
The-
a
the-
part-time would
the-
be
The
fine.
blue sheet. That's
She-
what she doesn't
Yeah,
follow.
yeah. I wasn't ever fond of it either, so.
Me neither.
It's straight up. I mean, that's just the way it is. I can't.
So
I
she's a
don't
good
like
company.
speaking for her, but yeah. She knows all about zoning. She does help a lot about zoning.
Is
She's, oh yeah, she's helped me quite a bit.
Cool.
Because she's been here so long, she's been through it.
Sure.
She's been through it with several VAs. So she's helped me quite a bit with that. Cemeteries, a lot of that's hers, but I'm not sure that anybody can do the uploads of meters, or I don't think we have any.
I
If
think that was the
something,
other thing that,
if something happened
Yeah.
to her tomorrow, I don't know.
The learning curve would be worse than it's been with Terry and Barb.
But who's gonna do her job at this
Right.
point, and such.
so someone else should know.
So
he
maybe
can take money,
the
but-
administrative assistant could also
Cross.
cross
That's
train
what you
on that.
need,
That's
as a
what you need.
backup to her, these two,
Yeah.
her and him.
Yeah,
I
And,
mean,
and
you have to.
her and Barb worked together pretty well, didn't they?
Mhm.
I mean, who we put in that position, I mean, has to get along well with Missy.
Yeah.
Just has to.
Yeah, because that's the two big backups.
Yeah, no one knows how to
is
do,
hers.
I mean, I can, yeah. I mean, Terry didn't really want to learn because she had enough on her plate. Barb was willing, I taught her how to do payroll. And when it came time to, if I went on vacation, the drill is put all of the receipt documentation in this folder, put all the invoices in this folder. And when I get back, I put in my date, and it would take me sometimes 2 or 3 days to finally catch up. which
that's
I
a
did.
job.
Because no one knew how, doesn't know how to post a receipt. No one knows the account codes like I know. I could teach them.
Yeah.
I mean, I taught Barb how to do payroll, and yes.
You're never gonna be 100% cross-trained.
No, no,
You're only gonna be 50%
Right.
cross-trained.
that's correct.
But there are certain roles that we should absolutely have two people that know how to do those roles. So like two people should probably know how to do the website and have access to it. Two people probably.
I don't know
can
about
the
that.
Billing and the meters paid and payroll being one. Deciding what,
Well,
tasks
whatever you guys
should
decide,
be-
I
at least
I
have a
will end
couple
up
people
training,
on
I will
those
end up training whoever that
tasks.
person is
yeah.
while I'm
right.
away. This is what to do, because, I mean, just open my drawer, you know my password list. I could care less if you know my password.
Just keep it neat for when I get back. Put these there and those there.
I mean,
We're good.
my password and my computer's right here.
Yay!
I know you're supposed to do that, but, you know,
So I guess I can address most of what we just talked about when I do
Right.
this breakdown of this description. And I will-
So are we gonna table this until next meeting? Is that what we need to do? Again?
I think so.
I,
Put it on our business, I guess.
I guess it is technically, no, not new business, I guess it is old business.
It would be next meeting, would be old business.
what do we have to do? to-
Same with new business. I suppose these are-
So we're waiting
We don't
4
have to
weeks
do
to
it.
do anything on that village administrative position.
Well, that's up to you guys. I mean,
I guess that's why I was throwing out to you.
I thought,
Yeah.
wasn't there supposed to be a meeting though, where you guys were going over
We were gonna interview people, but
resumes?
we gotta figure out what we're doing first.
Interviews?
I mean,
Yeah.
don't you think that we have to
Interview
do
them
it
for
step by
what?
step?
We were just talking about what the
Yeah,
job
job
description is.
description.
So
Yeah.
interview them to
I mean,
what,
how do you how do you hire somebody if you don't know what you're
need them to
hiring them
do.
for?
So that needs to happen first.
So yeah,
obviously.
step by
So
step.
when does that need to take place? When does that happen, that list of?
Well, after tonight, there's no more meetings the rest of the year.
Till
so-
Right.
next year.
So we're
So
4 weeks
we're
until we even
a
look at it
month.
again.
And you'll have your information. Can you?
Send it to us before the next
Yeah.
meeting,
I
so.
will try to get it to you in the next couple of weeks.
Okay,
And
that's
I'll
fine.
do my best to get it to you. I know I got that list time, but I won't procrastinate it, so.
We don't like need motions or anything, do we?
None that I can think of. Are we to the end of the agenda?
We're just gonna table it until next, the VA position until next meeting, which is going to be on January 9th at around 6:30, 6:45. Is there anything else that we need to talk about and rules? All right, have a motion to adjourn the meeting, and the next meeting will be second Monday in January, January 9th, 6:45 or after the finance committee.
Foreman makes a motion to adjourn.
Schaffner, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
what time is it? 6, 7:14?
Break time.
No,
Well, Brian, you want to go into finance and take care of some of that business?
I can reconvene finance.
Yeah, let's do that and get some of that cleared up. Let me get this opened up. Okay, Wade, since you just come in, I'll kind of fill you in what happened. We're going to reconvene the finance meeting at 7:14.
I gotta find my notes.
Okay,
7:14 reconvene. Okay, go ahead, Chuck.
okay, Wade, we went over the finance for November and everything looks good. We're within our percentage of everything. I don't know if you want to look at it or anything, but we need a motion to pass the monthly financials. I can't vote and I can't make a motion. So if you're okay with it, between you and Randy, we can make a motion and get that. Well, let's go back to the minutes. Sorry about that. Have you read the minutes, Wade?
I
The no- Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of November 14th?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the finance meeting.
Do I hear a second?
Very second.
Okay, not like us. Roll call, Brian.
Wade
Yes.
and Brandon.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. The minutes is approved as voted on. Okay, now we'll go into new business and we'll go into monthly financials. If you want to have a minute to look at them, Wade, or ask any questions, go ahead.
Yeah, I already looked at them in the emails prior to
Okay.
coming. I didn't really
Okay.
see outstanding
Okay.
as a question.
Now I need a motion to approve the November financial report.
McCreary so moves to approve the financial reports for November.
Carlos Gray saying.
Okay, roll call, Brian.
Randy,
Yes.
Wade,
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Also, Wade, we went over the 2023 budget, and of course, we can't, it's kind of on hold until what we just settled in about the VA and that kind of stuff we just talked about in the rules committee. Then we went into ordinance 2022-47, and that's the purchase of 2 cars, which is right, Brian?
and that was to purchase 2 vehicles to plead for the SROs officers, Wade.
Yeah.
And
One for 28,000.
one for 28,000, one for, well, both of them total 28,000.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
this-
that's our half from the school.
Yeah, they're gonna reimburse as soon as I invoice them, but we have to increase the appropriations
Okay.
They're
to,
paying 100% of it.
they're paying 100%.
Oh, we have to.
We had to pay for it first.
Yeah,
So we have to increase the appropriations, and that's why it needs to be passed tonight.
okay. That's good.
So do I hear a motion to take ordinance 2022-47 to council?
I'll make the motion. We take ordinance 2247 council from the committee.
Did I hear a second?
I'll second that. McCreary.
Okay, roll call, Brian.
Yes.
Randy,
Yes.
Okay, okay, and since Wade, you made a motion, you want to sponsor that in?
Yeah, I'll sponsor the 2022-47 for the
Yeah.
appropriate.
Yep, it's the appropriation change, yep. You have any question, Wade?
No, I do not.
Okay. Randy,
I do not have any questions.
hey, Chuck,
anybody else before I adjourn the finance meeting?
Chuck, I
Yes.
just want 2023 budget. I understand that nothing's been decided on the VA position. But that ordinance needs passed tonight. It's built the way we are structured right now. If the council makes any changes, for
Okay,
instance, deciding on what to do with the VA, that can always be modified next year. But I need a budget going into next year. And it's,
okay, is it for the whole year or 3 months?
that's for the whole year.
Whole year, okay. I thought so, but we've done that in the past where we just did a three months budget.
That's, we don't have a 3 month, I don't have a 3 month budget prepared. I
Okay.
got a year budget prepared as we are operating right now. So
Okay,
you guys finally decide the VA position, what to do with it, and whether we need a part-time 1 or 2 or how many. And then I plug those costs into it and I'll analyze that against the budget. And if any changes need to be made, we can always modify this ordinance. So I don't want to get hung up on, well, we can't pass the budget because we don't have to decide what to do in here. I need a budget.
okay.
Understood.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
All right, Wade, have you had a chance to look at it? I mean, everything changes. Brian sent it out to us. There was some, he put some in green and yellow, the changes he made on the last time we had a council meeting.
I did look that over.
I mean, changes are in yellow. Like on the revenue side, I reflected the reimbursement from the state, loan proceeds for 2 vehicles for the police department next year, as well as budgeting in the capital outlay side for the 2 new cruisers. Brandy made it, wanted to pay officers, what dynamic raises, and I plugged those, and that's what changed in the police department.
Okay.
The other changes, I think, the only other thing I can think of that changed was medical and insurance for the street department. One of the employees had decided to enroll the whole family into the plan, which skyrocketed the cost for that. And the only other change in the budget was adding on, as suggested by council, paying off 4 OPWC loans. Okay. And that's been budgeted, and we still have adequate carryover. In fact, I also presented to the committee before that an analysis on that we have an opportunity to lower the water and sewer debt charges by $7. I haven't sent that out. I put that up on the screen. So we can,
So I guess, coming from the committee, we don't need a motion to.
no, I'm
It's
just,
already.
it's going to be a third reading. I just want to reiterate that it needs to be passed tonight as is. We can always make changes next year based on
We're
new
gonna have to.
decisions. Yes.
So.
That's
Yeah.
right. I just want to make sure everybody understand that when we hope we pass it tonight, anybody have any questions or anything?
No, I do not.
I'm good.
Okay, not hearing anything. Anybody have anything else in finance? All right, the next meeting will be January the 9th at 6 o'clock. The meeting is adjourned.
22.
Okay.
Pause the recording.
Got an 8-minute wait.
Still on YouTube.
Well, okay. Yeah, we're still live on these guys, but we're
No one will care if we're walking around.
I'm sorry, guys, there's a production speaking, just getting this up. Making note of this.
yeah, we're
They must have heard me say that.
Yeah, as they dash across the room.
Sounds like very important.
Must be Dasher and Dancer.
Yeah.
Next year.
Here.
Ours all worked out. Plastic barricades that were.
Easy.
So good. I need him. I need him to-
We're gonna have to look at those, like with this light parade thing we had the other night. Daylight parades are a whole different world. Like, we're different. So we're gonna probably, I think we're probably right now, we're looking at order 6 more. And what we're gonna see is where a service from now, they're both gonna order 6 more. I mean, we're already changing, anyway, we don't use them. But that would give us enough that we could barricade literally every street from one end to the other. when that
We're
parade
talking about the ones that fold out.
Yeah, they just fold out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the plastic and what's nice about them is, I can put,
I guess I need direction on what.
my gosh, I could probably put 12 in the back.
Yeah.
of the you know, and they're lightweight, one person can handle them. And they're relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, we're doing that.
The only thing we need to put is, and I can't find, they used to make these things that look like,
Really?
they look like almost like 2 weights off. of
I'm still OEM.
And it had-
I'm still OEM.
My entire family.
Yeah, yeah. I can't find this.
Has.
And the other thing that I need to find out,
Really?
yeah, on getting our speed
I got lucky in the genetics.
I can Bluetooth them to my son. Save the one.
I guess I
I can
need.
Bluetooth it to them now. I just have not had them sit down and really play with it. Because I gotta learn myself.
No, I think so. That's what I'm trying to do. That you do that. I'm just not really know.
We haven't do an ordinance.
Probably Devin, because he works.
But-
I mean, I want-
It's gonna take 3 readings, right? I heard you introduce it like first week of February.
My long-term goal.
Should we introduce it tonight, Sam?
I didn't say nothing.
He wants to let it go a
Actually,
couple
by
months.
accident, but,
Just in time.
Not for that
Wait a
reason,
minute.
just to get his balance.
Inbound.
likes the phone.
He just wants a little more cushion before.
Inbound from the truck stop. coming in from the door, and one,
Right.
Like right there, Dollar General somewhere. And
Right, that's already in
I think
place.
what we'll do is, once we get those there, we may just.
We got 2 meetings in January,
That
we
other
can
one didn't
introduce
have any
it,
trouble
so
at all.
that first reading February 1st, second meeting in February, by the first meeting in March, we can pass
We
it.
can
and
permanently
then it
mount
goes into
those,
effect.
I think that Because I'm telling you, out there on.
He wanted to get a little
East
cushion before it took
Market, It
effect.
was crazy how much. these storage cars-
Which also fell into the timeline where it's like we raised it and lowered it, but it just worked out.
They're gonna see, 1 month they're gonna see a big raise, 3%. Then the next month they're gonna see low. So they're gonna be really mad 1 month and really happy the next month. But I believe that's the case. That's all we have to do is take the existing ordinance and have.
You know, maybe if we look at that, we do have already have the 20 mile an hour.
Chuck can do that, he doesn't.
Then we take one of
He
those
just
to the
can't
side
vote.
of the road. I'm trying to think if there's any. Darla would know. On Holder Road, like, where you come into the city, from the village out
Right.
there.
Sorry, guys, I had to take
Is
that
there-
call.
Are there utility poles along the road right there?
So she's like.
I can't remember.
On Holder or on Grove?
So that's why.
I know there's one at B.
Yeah,
Is
one-
there one down there by?
Side plan line, or-
You still live? No, she's
Yeah,
fine.
once you
She's
get into
fine. Yeah,
the
it's just
older
that it
section
changes
of
the
Holder
time I need to
there,
pick her up and
the
take the
first
train
section, I
from
guess,
Wheeler.
there is some, yeah, there's wooden
She's taking
utility
her
poles.
She's been in the morning.
There's
she's
There's not.
been down
there's-
to
I mean,
Chad,
towards your
their
house.
No,
boyfriend.
no.
We're talking about, those,
Officially
if you may not have seen it, maybe you did, but we bought this sign and it's like an electronic speed sign.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
it,
Yep.
and my goal is to have one of those on every main corridor coming in, but permanently mounted. So if we have one on Holder Road out there, because that thing, I'm telling you, we put one, you can ask Wade, we put one of those on East Market Street inbound. And our speed problem went overnight.
So
There
really,
was one.
my hypothetical
in front of
situation
Mary
isn't really hypothetical.
That's all we
They're running a business, a
You know
daycare
where
business
the.
across the street from me.
Right, right. I assumed it
In
was.
Kirkland, there's one right there. And you're going out. That's fine. I'll tell you what, you have to say.
They,
Well, inbound,
they are running a daycare.
when we
business
clock
right
out there,
across the street.
cars coming inbound are always the,
I don't know, if you're running
Problem.
daycare.
uh,
I don't know if there's a
But I think
difference
if we
between
had that,
babysitting and
so when you're
daycare
coming
and
in, it's like right here. face.
Differentiation.
I think that
But
if we can get half the clients
There
we
is
got
a- front of
out
my
here
house,
on
there's a
East
no
Market,
parking sign
that
here,
speed problem would
no
go
parking
away.
Sign here and they come up. and
So
park right
we've got a couple of those signs. We had problems with it, and we're talking about, we think it was because we moved it and maybe where it was sitting down on that pedestal, which let it rock and
And then they're
roll.
honking.
So I'm looking, and I've got squirreled away enough in the
I
budget
had
to
told
buy
Terry, and I
like,
thought.
my goal is to buy one every year.
Right.
And then that way we'll have one coming in 256 from both directions, one up by Ace up there.
I was gonna go out.
One up by Ace and then put one down
I'm
at,
gonna try to catch her outside one day
on
and just
Holder.
ask her to tell her clients.
yeah, because coming in Holder, if we had that and had the other. See, the school zone already has the big flashing, lights for school zones. So I think, it'll be all right, plus we sit down there all the time, so. But Holder Road has been a real pickle trying to figure a way to, so. But yeah, but
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
yeah, I think that would be the best place for it.
Take a look at it. I think, and I don't remember.
I think the biggest thing is that she's gonna give a lot of money to make sure that we.
If I'm sitting in
So
my.
Diane's had 5
Take one of those
in
at
it.
Mary's house.
Those like that.
I know there's a washer back in it.
Well, that's what I wondered, and again, I think there's a difference between babysitting and daycare.
Well, I'm gonna go out there tomorrow and look around.
I mean, I don't
But
know.
we probably won't put them up till it starts to warm up a little bit, but.
Hey, Brian,
On every entryway. It's pretty hard when you get stopped then to go, gee, I didn't know.
That's true, that's true.
okay, I'll call this, I'll call that Baltimore Council meeting to order. If everybody would please rise, we'll do the prayer. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
amen. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
One under God.
liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Brian, roll call.
Cosgray,
Present.
Foreman,
Present.
Keller,
Present.
Carey,
Present.
Reedy,
Present.
Schaffner.
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum. Approval of the agenda, approval of the minutes of November 28, 2022 meeting.
Foreman makes
I
a
hear a
motion.
motion.
Foreman makes a motion. We approve them as written.
Reedy seconds.
Any questions on the motion of the minutes? Hearing none, roll call.
Cosgray,
Abstain.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Reedy,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
Okay, four votes yes, motion carries. Before we get to approving the agenda, I know 2022-48 about the Rumpke or waste. I know that come out of survey. You remember who made a motion to take it to council?
Chuck, I don't think it was ever taken to council. It was put on hold until they negotiated with
Yes.
Pickerington. So no one, this is,
You're, yeah, it was not.
But it was discussed.
but it was
We
discussed.
were yeah, we discussed it. Okay. So nobody really do I hear somebody want to make a sponsor it tonight?
I can sponsor that.
Who's that? Cosgray? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda for tonight?
McCreary move to approve the agenda for this evening.
Foreman seconds.
Any discussion on the motion? Roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Keller, can't vote. McCreary,
Yes.
Reedy,
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
Okay. Visitors, I can't tell if there's anybody on or not.
There is, Chuck. I'll introduce everyone to Jake Heffron. He's with Rumpke. He offered to come to tonight's meeting because he knows that there's an ordinance on the agenda for council to review and hopefully approve for an extension of the current contract that's in place, but with updated rates. And Jake offered to come to answer any questions that council may have regarding those proposed new rates. And City of Pickerington was offered the same rates, and last week they accepted them and signed off on their contract documents. That's my understanding. Correct?
That's correct. Good evening, council, and everyone here. My name is Jake Heffron. I am the municipal representative for Rumpke in the Columbus area. And I just wanted to come down here tonight and kind of ask you guys all questions as we enter in possibly into a new contract with the city of Baltimore and kind of gauge what your guys' feel is for where our services are at and what you think we may be able to do better going into this new contract. So I've been working with Jeff a lot over the past couple of weeks, kind of going back and forth on what was going on with Pickerington. I know you guys have been on the same contract and same race for a long time. So we wanted to continue to honor that. And that's why I wanted to come down here tonight and just kind of answer any questions you guys might have for me and kind of gauge on where you guys feel we are at in our service level with Baltimore. So.
Okay, thank you for coming in, Jay.
Yeah, no problem.
And I forgot during roll call, I also want to say that tonight we have the fiscal officer, the assistant VA or the intern, the Baltimore Police Chief, Tussey, and of course Jeff also tonight with us. All right, any more visitors besides just?
No, no, there's no other visitors, Chuck.
Okay, we'll go into village administrative report. And I know the mayor's.
Hold
What's
on,
that?
Chuck.
Okay.
Jake's gonna answer any questions that you guys may have.
Oh, okay, I was gonna do that later, but okay, then he can, that'd be fine. Any question anybody want to ask any questions to Jay?
I can wait if you guys have a process.
No, that's fine.
Well, I
That's
mean,
fine.
you'd have to wait till we get to that ordinance and you may not want to wait around that.
Unless you have nothing else
I have
to
no
do.
questions.
I
I
don't
believe
have any
this is just
I do
on
not have any questions.
for 3 readings and then it will take effect immediately with the emergency language. It does not need to be passed tonight.
Well, but except that their current contract expires at the end of this month.
Right.
Yeah, I
the-
thought,
Oh, okay, so you do need it passed
Yeah.
tonight. Okay.
Yeah, we don't need it signed tonight, but it passed tonight and then signatures back and forth, so that way we can get the new rates.
So is everybody okay passing it by emergency tonight?
I'm
I'm
good.
fine with that.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Okay. I think we got you covered.
That's pretty easy.
Yes, thanks.
You're good. Ask for a raise.
I'll leave a few of my business cards up here on the podium in case you guys think of anything, and then you guys can take these and have my information available as well, so,
Perfect.
That'll work.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, no, if you want me to-
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
yeah,
you.
you guys have a good Christmas.
You
too.
too. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Jake. And Chuck, that's it for visitors.
okay, yeah, I was gonna let him talk when we got to the ordinance, that's fine. Okay, we'll go into the village administrator report. You know, the mayor's not here tonight. He had a death in his family, so he's not here. The village administrator, Tim?
Leaf pickup is complete finally. I think I reported it last time, but we was at the end of the week. We do have some guys, I think they're gonna go around yet this week and clean up some curbs and gutters with leaves. There's some debris in a lot of those. Storm grates and things like that where things have washed in. They're gonna get those things cleaned up. So it'll be just kind of some manual labor with shovels and whatnot. Wastewater plant, we're still on schedule to remove sludge depending on weather by the end of the year, which the weather is not looking too good for Wednesday, Thursday. So it feels like extremely wet where they spread this stuff. We did start another sludge bag today, which would be our bag number 4. We have 3 ready to go. So we had to go ahead and start another one so we can get our wasting started, which is desperately needed. And we should start another round of membrane cleans within the next few weeks, right after the first of the year, because they are definitely ready for that. Water department, he's continuing meter installs, and he's got a ton of urine reports being done at the moment. Project wise, the corner project, our PTI is approved. I think we got all that documentation back today. Met with V3 and the contractor last week, and they're hoping to get all that done, completed by the end of the year. They thought they might start today, but due to the inclement weather coming in again Wednesday and Thursday, they may have held off. I didn't speak to them today, but I plan on making a phone call tomorrow if they're not here on site. I think that's all I have.
Anybody?
Auto at the sewer plant.
No, and
They're
that's,
not.
we.
That's
went
why we
off
know we need to
auto.
do a cleanup.
That's why we knew, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we went off, I want to say it was early last week, we went off auto. The last full rain we had, we didn't overflow, nothing like that. That's when we had to start messing with it a little bit.
Okay.
Tim, did you want to address that tap fee issue later?
That's up to you, I guess, because it's, okay,
It's up to you.
let's do it now.
Okay.
I had a meeting with a resident late last week. Lives at 5 Baltimore Somerset Road Northwest, which the name is Keck. And they have a failing septic tank system. I guess it's in pretty bad shape. They spent a few $1,000s on it. They can't get it going. He has requested to go ahead and tap into our system. He does have our water now. I've done done as much research as I can. I actually met with the homeowner and the contractor today. He's not one that would need a grinder pump, and the contractor shot a lot of grade, and our force main comes into his property. There's a manhole right there, and that's when it transitions over to gravity from that point. And there's enough fall to get from out of his house into that manhole and give him enough flow to get into our gravity sewer system. The question that he is, does he have to pay a sewer tap fee? And done some research. I cannot find anything so far where there's an annexation process done on that piece of property. Jeff has helped me tremendously, and he may be able to elaborate. Feel free to jump in anytime.
I will. It has been.
It has been
It was
annexed.
annexed in 2005.
It was annexed before we started offering free taps in exchange for annexation agreements. And so he kind of he annexed willingly without a tap annexation agreement.
Mhm.
So he kind of like, if he'd have held out on annexing, he'd have got the offer, but he didn't hold out on annexing.
So just for, and Rick is probably aware of this because he was one of the property owners that was offered some incentives by the village a few years ago. But for of the other council people, the village has periodically offered incentives to those property owners along 256 east of the village to agree to obtain water and sewer services from the village. And one of the reasons for that is to entice them to agree to annex if their property ever becomes contiguous to the village, because that's going to benefit the village and allow for future growth for further east. So in 2000, when Tim called me, I was in meetings until late this afternoon. When I got back to the office, I looked on my computer, and the KECs were offered in 2012, along with some other property owners in that area. At that time, Village Council said, okay, we've got a sewer improvement project. We want you to tie in. If you're willing to tie in now, then we will agree that with regard to any tap fees, you don't have to pay those up front. We'll assess those to your taxes, and you can pay those over a period of time, so you don't have to take a big hit up front. I don't recall, I know that letter went out to the KECs, but apparently they didn't want to take advantage of that, or didn't need to, because they were on a septic system that apparently was working at the time. So, and I don't specifically recall if any property owners in that corridor took advantage of that offer. They may have, but I don't remember anybody contacting me saying, hey, can you draft an agreement, because here's what these folks want to do. And then in 2018, the village extended an updated offer to property owners in that same corridor area, and said, okay, if you're willing to agree to obtain water and sewer services, we will grant you one free tap for water and one free tap for sewer. And there were terms. They had to sign off on agreements within a certain period of time, and they had to agree to convert over to the village's utility services within 12 months, unless the health department said you have to tie in sooner because your current system is failing. And there were a lot of property owners then that did agree to sign on. Why not? It's a heck of a financial incentive. I think at that time, it was, the rates quoted were $3,500 for a residential sewer tap and $2,750 for a residential water tap. So out of 6 or 7 property owners on the north side of 256, outside of the village, they all signed off on agreements, and the majority of them there was one holdout, but the rest of them all signed on and said, yes, we'll take advantage of this, grant us the taps. And about the same time, maybe a little bit after that, Rick owned a parcel out there, he and Robin did, and they were offered the same deal. Their property, and correct me, Rick, if I'm misstating this, but it was further, it was on the south side of 256, and it was east. One of the last smaller parcels, 2 acres or whatever, before you ran into a big tract of farmland. So, and Rick and Robin were offered the same deal, I believe, correct?
Yes.
So, and that was again, in 2018. So there has been some history there of previous village councils saying to those residents, yeah, we'll offer some incentives to you. But it was never offered that I can see to the Kecks, because as Rick indicated, they annexed in 2005 before the village started offering these incentives, saying, okay, if you agree to annex within a certain time frame, then or sign off on these agreements, here's what we'll do. We either spread out the payments initially, or we'll give you 1 free water tap and 1 free sewer tap. So, and I believe, Tim, you mentioned that the Kecks came in with Roger Woods.
That's correct.
And he indicated that he was offered a similar arrangement.
Yeah.
And I can't find that. I don't believe that the Woods were offered that, because I just don't find any paperwork on it. So on them, now whether or not they paid for the tax, that I don't know, and I wouldn't know. But I mean, I wasn't asked to prepare any documents that I could find for the Woods tract. So.
Yeah, and these addresses, I pulled the files, I cannot find any receipts, any canceled checks, anything like that, where anybody has paid for the sewer tap. I know the Gibbs did not obviously pay for a sewer tap, they signed on the agreement. So that's kind of, I guess, in a synopsis with Jeff, that's the way that it is right now. After meeting with the homeowner, if he has to pay for a sewer tap, he has to pay for a sewer tap. I'm here to ask what council would like to do, because that, like I said, the contractor can get it there, he can get it in our manhole. We absolutely have no work to do there. Our sewer tap, which I know that Terry and the other minister had forwarded the facts to someone on behalf of Mr. Keck about, this is our tap fees. It's $3,850 a tap our sewer. And that's with us doing a tap. So the question I would have, what would you like me to tell the resident? Does he need to pay the sewer tap fee even though there's nothing there, or do we let him continue on, tap into that manhole with this contractor?
So let me make sure I understand you. And council may have some questions too. So if they did tap in, would there be any work that's needed by the village, aside from what his private contractor is going to do to tap in?
No.
Is this an accredited contractor?
They would probably.
Okay.
I got it.
So I just need to give them a synopsis of the nature of what we as a village expect.
I think one of the reasons we did that was because so many of those residents out there had water.
Right.
It was Thurston water, wasn't our water. They weren't giving us any money for it, because then Thurston had their own water. They were on private septic. They had no incentive to annex. And so we can't leapfrog over them. So why decisions were made in the past to let them have utilities without making them annex or getting annexation agreements, I don't know. So to try to overcome that and get to developable land where we can slowly grow the village and offer our services, we needed to figure out ways to incentivize them to annex so we could be contiguous. And for whatever reason, when that sewer happened, there was a push to annex some land, and we actually went around what was then a junkyard, because the old man was on his deathbed. No one even wanted to approach him. So we actually went around a parcel, And I think Roger was the way we were able to sneak around behind that to stay contiguous.
You're right.
I don't know if any incentives were offered to him at the time.
That's probably Russian.
But that is kind of the backstory on how all this happened, is that people had the utilities, they didn't need to annex, they had no desire to annex. And so we tried to give them a reason to annex. Mr. Keck was really kind of helping us out by annexing at the time without being incentivized to do it, so that we could do the force main to get to fast max. And I feel like now if we make him pay full tow, we're punishing him for being helpful back then. That's just my take on it. I was
But
kind
it
of there
doesn't
for
sound
all of
like
it.
that we have to really do
That's
anything.
We
what I was
don't
gonna
need to
say.
do
It doesn't
anything.
sound like
And
we
he'll
have
have a
to do
monthly
anything,
bill
so-
for, he's probably on
Exactly.
Thurston Water now.
No, he's on our water.
He is on our
He is on
water?
our water now.
Okay. Oh, he changed.
Yes, he did. change.
Okay. So we're just going to increase the bill we give him every month and spend no
I-
money to add him to a monthly bill.
I don't think we need to change.
No, I don't think we need to charge him.
Then under motions, I would ask for a motion from council.
Yes.
I make
To
a
waive the
motion.
tap for sewer and water for the Keck. road.
Well, he's already.
He's already got water.
Okay, for the sewer.
For the
I
sewer.
make a motion that we.
Well, Jeff, you want to do it now or you want to wait till we get into motions?
Council can make a motion anytime during the meeting.
Okay. Okay, do I hear a motion about this Keck
Read it
property?
Yes.
I'm trying.
Reedy's working one up for you.
You got time, you can wait till motion.
Let's do it. Let's just do it.
I make a motion that we
Waive
we
sewer
waive
tap
the sewer tap for Mr. Keck
At 5 Baltimore.
at
Somerset.
5 Baltimore Somerset Road.
And Foreman seconds.
Do I hear any discussion on the motion? Roll call, Brian.
And that's one residential tap.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is for what property? Five?
Baltimore Somerset.
Cosgray,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Schaffner,
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Tim, you have anything else on your report?
No, I think that should do me.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, how about the V3 out there,
The stormwater
the
project.
That was
stormwater?
the stormwater that I spoke about on projects that we have our PTI back and we was hoping the contractor would be here today. That's you mean the
We're
east
talking about the
side?
bigger study.
Well, yeah, the big thing with the
The east
V3
side.
and
More
the-
east side.
I have no updates on that as of
Okay.
now. I give an update, I think, last council meeting, but I have nothing as of the moment.
All right,
Okay, any more questions to Tim? Okay, we're going to fiscal officer. Brian, your report.
I have nothing other to add tonight. I had a lot to talk about tonight, so I have nothing more to add.
Okay. All right, Jeff, you're on board.
Two new pieces of legislation. One's already been discussed. That's the extension of the current contract with Rumpke for an additional 3-year time period, 3-year time period. And then the other one is Brian's appropriation ordinance. Those are the two new pieces of legislation on the agenda. That's all. I have.
Okay, Jeff, I got an email from Brad tonight about the reorganization next year. Do we need to have a reorganization meeting?
No, that can wait until the first regular meeting, council meeting of the year.
Well, I think what he's saying, we don't have to have a special, we can do that at the first council meeting in.
Correct.
Is that correct? Well, we vote for council president and all that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Firm council rules and then if he wants to make committee assignments at that time, he can.
okay.
Stuff.
Yeah, he just put that on an email. I just thought I'd bring it past you. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions to Jeff? Okay, we'll go into the village council committee reports, finance. We had a meeting tonight. We went over tonight, the November finance, which is the expense and the revenue was all within the budget. Brian went over the new changes in the 2023 budget. I think everybody was here except Wade. And I know I kind of updating when he come in. We talk about ordinance 2022-47 about the two SRO cars, and that's on a first reading tonight. Brian also talked about the wastewater and the water debt, where he would like to make some changes on that, cut it. I think it was $3 and $4. Is that right, Brian? I knew it was up to $7.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I know I forgot to say that to Wade. What do you want to do, Wade? It changed the amount we pay on the debt next year, which would be a savings of $7. That's all I had. The next meeting will be January the 9th at 6 o'clock. Okay, service.
Service hasn't met. Last was the 28th. Haven't met yet this month. We'll meet on the 23rd of January at 6 o'clock, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, anybody have any questions to Wade? Safety.
Yes, sir. We did not meet this evening. We will meet in January 23rd, following service, about 6:45.
Okay, any question to Brandy? Okay, roles.
We did meet tonight and we talked at length about the VA position and what we are asking for. We have tabled that for the next meeting, and our next meeting is January 9th, approximately 6:45 after finance.
Okay, any question to Darla? Hearing none, we'll go into public safety report. Police Chief Tussey.
Thank you. The 3 new officers are coming along real well. We've been involved in some community service things where they worked the light parade that we had, which was a huge success. They also worked last Saturday at the Pleasantville parade that they had. And I'm proud to announce that during that parade, they arrested the Grinch. So it's on our YouTube account if you want to go look at it. We've got all of our training done for this year, which has been a real hassle. And we have training set up for next year for one of our new officers who has to do a refresher course. That's all I have.
Okay, any questions to the chief? All right, thanks. The Ballsville Joint Fire District Fire Board, Debbie?
Yes, we met on December 8th. But that was a budget meeting where we went over and planned for 2023. And our next meeting will be December 15th at 6:30. And at that time, the budget will be, it's kind of like a public hearing, or not a hearing, but a public meeting where anybody can come in and look at the budget for next year, review the budget, the public can, and then we will vote on the budget following that.
Okay, any questions to Debbie? Thank you. All right, we'll go into village committee and commissioners, planning and zoning commission. I think, Tim, you kind of sit on that board now. You got anything?
No.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I know Terry does that, but is anything going on with that?
No, actually, we have not met for a couple of
Oh.
months. We should be meeting in January.
Okay.
We haven't
I'm
met.
sorry, I got the wrong person there.
It's okay.
You're all right.
The tree commission.
I don't think they're meeting till next year either right now.
Okay. And of course, the records, I don't know if you and Jeff doing anything on that or not.
The mayor hasn't scheduled anything, so that's probably a next year item too.
All right, sounds good. Going to motions, any motions tonight? All right, hearing none. We'll go into ordinance and resolution, first reading ordinance 2022-47, ordinance to amend the 2022 appropriation ordinance. And this was sponsored by Wade, if I remember right.
Right. To amend the appropriations for the SRO capital outlay for the vehicles for the buildings with the school.
And I think if we need to pass that tonight, right?
Yes.
So I'll make a motion that we suspend the three reading rule.
I got a motion to bypass. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that. McCreary.
Okay, any discussion? Brian,
Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Yes.
Shuffle.
Yes,
okay, motion carried 5-0.
I will make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2022-47, amending the appropriation so we can get those vehicles.
Now your second.
McCreary seconds that.
Okay, any question on the motion? Brian, roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Reedy,
Yes.
Shuffle.
yes,
Okay, motion carried 5-0. Ordinance 2022-47 has passed. Okay. Go into ordinance 2022-48, an ordinance authorizing the village administrator and the fiscal officer to enter into a contract extension with Rumpke of Ohio for residential waste refuse removal and the declaration of emergency. And I think, Wade, you said you're going to sponsor that also. It come out of service, kind of like we talked about it in service.
Yeah, that's right. And it was kind of on hold because of some negotiations with Pickerington that's been settled out. We've got the contract. So I would like to make a motion to suspend 3 readings for this ordinance.
Do I hear a second?
Schaffner seconds.
All right, motion made and second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Reedy,
Yes.
Shuffle.
Yes,
Okay, motion carries to bypass 3 reading 5-0.
Yeah, for the record, the current contract expires at the end of the year. That's why we had to do the emergency language. So I will make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2022-48.
Do I hear a second?
Reedy second.
All right, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Reedy,
Yes.
Shuffle.
yes,
Okay, ordinance 2022-48 passed 5-0. And that will go into effect in 30 days.
Immediately.
It'll go into effect immediately, but the new rates are effective January the 1st, Chuck.
What's that?
I said it goes into effect immediately because council
Oh,
bypassed
okay. Declaration, yep.
new rates go into effect as of January the 1st.
Okay, sounds good. Second readings, resolution number 2022-45, I think it is. I got it in small print. I can hardly read it. Resolution of the Village of Baltimore adopting the federal approval, like 2023 Fairfield County Natural Hazard Migration Plan and the Declaration of Emergency, sponsored by Debbie Schaffner.
yes, this resolution is needed in the event that we would need to receive grant funding or disaster assistance. And I would go ahead and move that we bypass the 3 reading rule.
Okay. Do I hear a second on to bypass the 3 readings?
I second. Reedy second.
All right. Any discussion on the motion? Roll call, Brian.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Reedy.
Yes.
Shuffle.
Yes,
Okay, then bypassed 5-0. Do I hear a motion to adopt?
and now I move to adopt resolution 2022-45.
Do I hear a second?
Reedy second.
Wait a second. Any discussion on the motion to adopt? Hearing none, roll call.
Cosgray,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes.
Shuffle.
Yes,
Reedy.
Yes.
Okay. Resolution 2022-45 passes. Ordinance 2022-46, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to executive contract with the Director of the Ohio Department of Transportation for Bridge Inspection Program Service and the Declaration of Emergency, sponsor Debbie Schaffner.
Yes, this allows the mayor to execute a contract with ODOT to inspect the bridges within the village limits. And I would move to suspend the 3 reading rule on this one too.
All right, do I hear a second? Bypass.
I don't think this would need
This is
this.
like-
Emergency.
We don't need this.
It'll take effect immediately. We don't need to pass it tonight.
Oh, we don't need to pass.
So we can just let it go to another reading, right?
But wasn't there a request by ODOT though for this to be passed as soon as possible? So that's.
We don't have another meeting.
That is
We-
true.
We don't have.
Okay.
another meeting.
That is
That's right, we
true.
don't have a meeting.
Yeah,
Mainly because we don't have another meeting. That's the
Yeah.
main reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my recollection though, folks, is that they asked that the municipalities consider passing this as soon as possible.
Okay.
Oh, and we couldn't last time, we didn't have a
A
quorum.
quorum,
That's
exactly.
right.
Yes. Yeah. So I still
Okay.
need,
Okay.
80 seconds.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on ordinance 22-46? Hearing a roll call, Brian.
Cosgrave,
Yes.
Foreman.
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes,
Reedy,
Yes.
Schaffner.
yes.
Do I hear a motion to adopt?
Yes, I move to adopt ordinance 2022-46.
Do I hear a second?
Reedy second.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion on the ordinance? Roll call.
Cosgrave,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
yes,
Reedy.
Yes.
Schaffner.
Yes.
Okay, motion carry. Ordinance 2022-46 pass. Okay, third readings. Ordinance 2022-40, I think it's 42. The permanent annual appropriation ordinance of the Village of Baltimore for 2023 in the declaration of emergency. McCreary.
yes, this is the third reading for ordinance 2022-42 regarding the budget. So appropriations for 2023.
Do I hear a second?
Schaffner seconds.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 2022.
Wait, wait a minute. Is that what adoption you said?
Yes, because it's on
Okay.
for a certain meeting, Chuck.
Yeah, I got a motion, the second to adopt ordinance 2022-42, which is the 2023 budget. Any discussion on the motion?
Schaffner.
Anybody have anything to say about the budget? Hearing none, roll call.
Cosgrave,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
McCreary,
Yes,
Schaffner,
Yes.
Reedy.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2022-42, the 2023 budget has passed. Ordinance 2022-43, an ordinance to reappoint Jeff Franco to the position of village solicitor for the Village of Baltimore, Ohio for a term of two years and to fix the compensation to be paid in the declaration of emergency. Sponsor Wade Cosgrave. Wade, you got this?
Yeah, we're just reappointing Jeff as the lawyer or solicitor. So I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2022-43.
Query
Do I
second.
hear? I got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the ordinance to adopt? Hearing none, roll call.
Cosgrave,
Yes.
Foreman.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. I didn't hear everybody, so I'm assuming it's 5-0.
Yes.
Well, I can't, there was a lot of noise on there, so I couldn't hear. So that's why I said, okay, ordinance 2022-42, passed 5-0. Table ordinance, none, old business. Anybody have any old business? Okay, any new business from anybody?
I'd like to bring something up just real quickly, a request.
Okay,
In 2023, maybe I'd like to request taking a tour through like the water plant. And so I just want to officially put that out there. We've talked about that, but I think some of us had mentioned would like to get over there to see.
I'm sure you just get with Tim. I'm sure they take you out there.
Can make arrangements for that.
Yeah, sure.
That's it. Thank you.
Anybody else have any new business? Any visitors out there that want to speak?
There's none.
Last call.
No visitors.
Okay, we talked about the meeting on December 26th to be canceled. So this is the last meeting of the year. I'd like to say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of you. And the next meeting will be January the 9th, 2023, which will also be a reorganization meeting. And if nobody else has anything to say, the meeting is adjourned.
No,
Now,
we need a motion.
You can't make the motion.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I missed it. Yeah. Ed, I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Osprey second.
Aye, we don't have no discussion on adjournment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I guess I've been thinking of the VFW. We don't do some things. All right.
It was. I didn't realize.
Mhm.
it.
okay.
I just hate
I mean, I
stuff
just
by
thought there was
emergency.
something you saw in there. that-
I just didn't, I thought it could